news today. Oh boy. And I just had to laugh. Or would you rather prefer, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. The mainstream media erupts after Trump picks Twitter troll Richard Grenell to be the acting DNI. A national disgrace. You know, if you believe in the saying that it takes one to know one, then the mainstream media using the term a national disgrace seems fitting. Because if anything is an example of a national disgrace, it has to be the United States of America's mainstream media. Let's dig further before we get even more laughs. The news that President Trump had chosen Richard Grenell, the current U.S. ambassador to Germany, to be the acting director of National Intelligence, the DNI, sparked an avalanche of panic from, of course, the mainstream media. Oh, let's get into their CNN. CNN is a cable news network. I'm just pointing that out because if you haven't been in an airport, you've probably never heard of CNN or know what CNN is. Because outside of airports, it's not something people tune into. But anyways, they have an anchor on there, and his name is Wolf Blitzer. Supposedly, that's his real name. And he led the charge against Grenell, offering negative coverage of the ambassador right out of the gate. President Trump appears poised to fill the critical job of Director of National Intelligence with a loyalist. Why would that be out of the ordinary for a president to have loyal members? Not really sure that's not unusual, Mr. Blitzer told viewers, accompanied by a graphic on the screen that read, sources. Oh, it's always sources. It's never so-and-so's name. It's sources. Trump to name loyalist Rick, can't even spell Richard right, Rick Grenell as acting DNI, avoiding Senate confirmation. Considering how our Senate has been acting since 2016, can you blame him? Do you not remember the hearings for Kavanaugh? Did you miss the impeachment trial? No, I kind of don't blame him. It's actually a stunning choice. Former Obama official and CNN national security analyst Carrie Cordero said, I think that Richard Grenell would be the least qualified person to ever hold that. And I wonder, when she was there with the Obama team, with all those qualified people, according to her, how she felt about all the spying on a presidential campaign of the other party. Because I never heard of her mentioning any complaints about that. And how they were involved with the Russians. That's right. How Hillary Clinton hired Steele, the British fellow, foreign agent, who therefore worked with Putin's government, excuse me, to create the Steele dossier, which led to 2.5 years of the Mueller hoax that Mueller really should have stopped. But of course, he was too busy hiring everybody on the investigative team who was from the Hillary or Bust campaign side. So once again, what was the title? Mainstream media erupts, calling the Twitter troll a national disgrace. There's a lot of national disgrace to go around, sadly. You can read all these other things. But here it is, the national media, who's up in arms at this fellow getting it, saying he's not qualified. We said Trump wasn't qualified, and he's given us the best economy that we've seen in forever. And you told us that Obama was so qualified that that's the day that the oceans will lower and the tides, all that other ridiculous hodgepodge stuff. While at the same time, Bloomberg faces searing attacks at a free-for-all, and of course it is. The only thing missing is the pies. Where are the pies? I want to see pies flying. Don't you? The free-for-all Democratic debate in Las Vegas. When I was a kid, we used to go to Las Vegas. And as a kid, there's nothing to do there. So you're like, can we please go to circus? Can we go to... And then so we finally went and found out that, I don't know if this is still true or not, but when I was a kid, circus, the circus was a couple of people on the trapeze that did a show for about 5 minutes. And it's like, that's it? We drove all the way here in that incredible heat because we didn't have air conditioning in the car. And that's it. It's a dude swinging around. Oy, oy, oy. But no. Now you can go there and boy, can you see a circus. Bloomberg faces searing attacks, free for all. And they are some nasty group of people. Was it, I'm a nasty woman? Well, there's a lot of other nasty women up there. The Democratic presidential debate Wednesday night kicked off with fireworks. That's just a metaphor. There were no actual fireworks on stage. As every person on stage, not named Mike Bloomberg, attacked the former New York mayor who was participating in his first presidential face-off. I wonder if that will be called a national disgrace. The first hit at the NBC, MSNBC 2-hour debate. Thank God it's not 3 hours anymore. What were they thinking? Came from frontrunner Bernie Sanders. What's his initials again? Who ripped Did you know rip Bloomberg is one word? NBC seems to think so. Ripped Bloomberg for his record as mayor. Bloomberg promptly hit back, telling the senator he cannot beat President Donald Trump. Can't we all just get along? Why does everybody have to beat everybody else? Can't we just shake hands and get along? Sanders slammed. Oh, wow, slammed. That's just kind of hilarious to picture little old man Sanders, who had his heart attack not long ago, slamming Bloomberg. Again, it's metaphors, people. There are no fireworks. There are no slamming. It's people on stage acting all goofy, wishing they had pies in their hand. Bloomberg for the controversial stop and frisk policy and his administration, which used... and then we get into the digs. Okay, so here you have the cartoon show of people who want to be president. You might recognize this woman. She's the Native American Cherokee who was kind enough to share her powwow recipes. And there's little Mike standing on... Is he standing on his box? Holy mackerel, he is tiny. Goodness gracious. So this blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman is the Native American Cherokee. This tiny little Mike, he is the fellow that is buying lots and lots of attention which is interesting because the Democrats are the one that swear up and down they don't like the rich people and they don't like corporations and they don't like people to buy their vote. Remember Citizens United? And here's a guy coming in making Citizens United look like, well, Citizens United. And he's taking over and he's spending all this money. And what I find interesting about that is money will never win you an election in America. It will get you attention, but it will not win you an election. And there have been lots and lots of people that have come along and tried to prove that wrong. And it's like, no, sorry. Hillary Clinton spent way more money than Donald Trump did. And Donald Trump won. Oh, I know it's a shock to the left. They're still trying to pretend like it didn't happen. Boy, they pretend hard too. But he did. And he spent less money than Hillary Clinton. So spending money, it can buy you attention, which you need when you're running for office. But it doesn't buy votes. Unless, of course, you're cheating and you're talking about Chicago. But for the rest of the country, no, it doesn't. And I've never been afraid, which I guess is why I'm not a Democrat. I've never been afraid of people spending enormous amounts of money to try and convince me of something. Go ahead. And if you're right, cool, you convinced me. But if you didn't, go away. Stop with all the advertisements. But here's, as Tim Pool likes to point out, they've sold their soul. Because everything they say they stand for, they're giving up to let this guy even be on the stage. Because they're so afraid of Bernie Sanders. What's his initials again? And I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of any of them. Because remember that complaint earlier about the Senate not moving? Well, when our founders created this country, well, let me rephrase that. When they created the Constitution that set up the further rules for the government, they designed it so that we are forced to have snail's pace government. It's not supposed to be a parliamentary thing where you got to move it. No, it's like, it's that little snail. And that's on purpose to prevent crazy people taking over and doing terrible things. Sadly, it also prevents really smart people from taking over and fixing things quickly. But you got to take the good with the bad. So, there you go. You got the clown show here. Only thing missing is the pies. He really didn't use the stand. He should have used the stand. And over here you have a national disgrace. Being called a national disgrace by the people who understand fully what it is to be a national disgrace. Again, I'm just going to say that's apropos. If it takes one to know one, they really know what they're talking about. If you like the content on this video and you want more, please check it out. And you can even visit my friend over there. Okay, so where was I at? Oh yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And we'll see you in the future.